Hey Fit Fam, hope everyone is feeling great and smashing out these sessions. Today is your lucky day, as today is a rest day. That means we're gonna spend some time learning how to foam roll, the benefits of foam rolling, so we can get a full day of recovery and let that body unwind and get ready to smash next week. We'll see you there. Hey guys, and welcome to your rest day. Today we're going to spend some time really breaking down the benefits of foam rolling, really breaking down how to foam roll, and then at the end we'll kind of finish going through some exercises of doing that actual myofascial release. So foam rolling, what is foam rolling? Foam rolling is actually by definition a myofascial release, which is just a fancy term for a self-massage. So I really hope you enjoy this day as we're going to be self-massaging ourselves with our foam rollers. So to talk about some of the benefits of foam rolling, there are plenty of benefits that foam rolling can actually help you in terms of the speeding up your recovery process. So that's one benefit. Another benefit to foam rolling is also increasing the range of motion, as well as increasing the amount of blood flow that we're actually pumping through the muscles so that our muscles can work out more effectively. So in regards to that, you can foam roll in two different fashions. You can foam roll before a session or before a workout, or you can foam roll after a workout. Now, if you're going to foam roll before a workout, the benefits of doing that would just be to increase the range of motion within the muscle with the muscle group that you are working. So that way we can actually work out a little bit more effectively when we're doing certain exercises. We can get a bigger range of motion. We can get more contraction with that muscle. Now, if you're going to foam roll after the workout, I would suggest giving yourself some time to rest. Then once you feel that you are sore and your muscle soreness is starting to appear and you're starting to feel it, then I would suggest doing some foam rolling after the workout. That way we can increase the blood flow back into that muscle that will help speed up your process, your recovery process, to be able to be less sore so you can jump back right into those workouts. So I'm going to dive right into the types of foam rollers. As you can see, I have two foam rollers here. I actually have three, which I'll show you in just a second. This is your basic foam roller. This foam roller is very soft. It doesn't have lots of ridges like this foam roller does. So this is a very soft, squishy, very beginner based foam rolling. Now, normally when you get these foam rollers, they're very large. This one is just a travel size, so it is cut down. So if you're just starting out in foam rolling, this is a great place to start because it is very soft. It won't actually hurt too much when you're going through foam rolling, so it's a great place to start for beginners. The second foam roller that you see here is a little bit more advanced. Now this foam roller, as you can see, does have some more ridges, some more curve, some more texture to the foam roller. Now what this actually does is this actually dives a little bit deeper into that muscle so we can work out any buildup of scar tissue that we might have. So this would be more of an advanced foam roller if you're really training really hard and your body is sore daily. I would recommend moving up to this level, but if you're just starting out, start with one of these bad boys. And then as you kind of progress through your fitness journey and you're doing more foam rolling regularly and you're finding that you still are really sore, you can upgrade to this. Now this foam roller is very special. It has a secret little compartment. Ooh. And it comes with an additional foam roller. This is your most advanced option for a foam roller. I would not suggest starting here. So if you find a foam roller, it looks like this. Okay, and you have not done foam rolling, find one that looks like this, okay? This one would be to dive a little bit deeper into maybe some back muscles that are really tight that you can't quite reach, or maybe calf muscles that we can really dig a little bit deeper into those smaller muscle groups. So without further ado, I'm gonna show you a couple basic movements with foam rolling that we can do on our back, foam rolling that we can do on our legs to really kind of release any tension where most people carry the soreness. So I'm gonna set this one aside and we're gonna start with the basic foam roller. We're gonna start with this one on your back. So all you're gonna do is place the foam roller behind you. Okay, make sure that when you are foam rolling, you give yourself plenty of space because you are going to be rolling around, so you do want lots of space here. Now I'm going to start on my back. So the foam roller is going to start in what we call, this is our thoracic spine here, so the middle of our spine. We're actually going to start right in the middle of the back. So I'm going to place the foam roller, okay, and maybe a little bit above that middle back. And you want to start to where you feel comfortable. So if you start too low, okay, below the rib cage, you'll feel that you'll have a hard time kind of getting back over top. So it's always okay to start a little bit closer towards your shoulders. Now, in terms of foot position, you want to keep those feet in line with the hips. We don't want to be too wide, okay, and we don't want to be too close. Just a comfortable, normal stance where those feet stay right in line with the hips. From here, we're just going to place the hands behind the head. All I'm doing here is just supporting my cervical spine, so just my neck, to make sure I'm not going to force it forward or let it fall back, okay? Now in this position, all I'm going to do is just start by foaming, rolling over top of that foam roller. So I'm going to tuck my hips underneath, okay, to create that activation, to create that muscle tension right here. From there, I'm just going to gently and carefully, okay, fold over top of the foam roller. Now, as you're starting out with this, you might feel a couple cracks, maybe even a couple pumps, just releasing some CO2, all right, and that's okay. Most importantly, when you're foam rolling, I want you to breathe. And as you're breathing, just like you would when you're stretching, you'll notice that those muscles are starting to release that tension, which is starting to create a bigger range of motion, okay? And we're starting to actually get a little bit of blood flow in those muscles, okay? Once you kind of feel that you have gotten a nice big stretch, you're gonna inhale. You're just gonna move your hips with still keeping those hips internally rotated. I'm just gonna move them down slightly. Continue with that pattern. So again, I'm not forcing myself back. I'm tucking my hips. I'm holding onto my neck, and I'm just gently leaning back. All right, very slowly, making sure you're still breathing. And just go to right where that tension lies. And then you can take another deep breath and continue this pattern till you open up that chest, create a little bit bigger range of motion. Okay, you can do this for about 30 seconds, even longer if you like, if you're a little bit tighter in your thoracic or in your upper back region, okay? And you'll just continue this pattern, move the hips forward slightly, and continue with this pattern, okay? I'm just gonna pretend that I'm speeding this process up here. Just keep on going until you get to that upper back, okay, to where you've really created a nice stretch and release of the muscles, all right? Now, another way that we can do this, okay, is to actually lift the hips. So once you've done that first and stretched out and released any tension that's in your back, you now can go into rolling out that muscle, okay? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna start back, all right, into the middle of that back. Again, make sure you have plenty of space. We're gonna keep those feet back in line with the hips, hands back behind under the head, and I'm just gonna lift the hips, but when I lift the hips, notice a difference. I don't just push, okay? If we push, we actually lose the control in the foam rolling. So I wanna internally tuck those hips, hold that tight, and as I lift, I'm still internally tucking and tucking and tucking. That way I'm still creating tension in my back to be able to find where those spots are. And then I'm just gonna gently roll forward and gently roll back. So you'll notice I don't need to push, you don't need to push your hips too high, okay? We're not trying to actually activate the glutes here. We're just trying to make sure that we're not round or not arching the back. We are rounding the back slightly so we can still hit those muscles. Okay, breathing through it. I usually like to give a couple rolls here. A further option is to place your hands around the chest. You can wrap your fingers around, creating more of a arched and rounded back. If you need to, I find that doing this movement, okay, wrapping the hands, actually stretches out those muscles right between your scapula, so right between your upper back, okay? And once you're done, you can set those hips back down. and hopefully you've stretched out your back, released any tension. You'll find that you may have released any soreness. Never feel like you have to force any type of foam rolling movement. Just gonna grab some water. Now, we've gone through the back. There's a couple different things. We can always roll out our lats here. That's something we can do if you have really tight lats. I'm gonna move right into the lower body half, so that way we can understand that we're getting our back and our bigger muscle groups, which is where most people carry the tension. So I'm gonna start with our hip flexors. Now our hip flexors is a very small movement, okay? It's a very small area that we are foam rolling, okay? So what you wanna do is actually palpate, okay, and find where your hip bone starts. Once you find where that hip bone starts, we're just gonna start right above that hip bone, and we're gonna roll down right into that crevice where that hip flexor muscle attaches, and we're just gonna roll that out. So to do this, I'm gonna start on my left side. So that means we're actually gonna be placing this foam roller just on the left side. So if you have a longer foam roller, I would suggest just using the end bit, because otherwise it's gonna run into the other leg. So just make sure you give plenty of space to just roll out one side. Now my other leg, I'll show you from this angle, okay, is just going to be on the ground, okay? So this leg is just here to push and guide you. I want you to relax the foot, let this supportive leg just do the work, and then the leg that's on the foam roller also is going to stay very relaxed, okay? Anytime that we are stretching and foam rolling the legs, we don't want to tense up the muscles. We want to let them completely relax so we can find where is our scar tissue buildup, where are the knots, where is the soreness, so we can lay that scar tissue back down to its normal fashion, and we can increase the blood flow and do great things for your muscles. So I'm gonna start with that foam roller, like I said, right above that hip. I'm gonna place my opposite leg out to the side. Now you can see I am just relaxing that leg that I'm foam rolling, so we don't want to tense it, we don't want to flex the foot, we just want to let it relax. And then I'm just down on my elbows so I can inch myself forward and inch myself back. So from here, okay, I'm just going to slowly move, all right, carefully and slowly through my hip flexor. Now you just want to make sure, I didn't give myself quite enough space here. You just want to make sure that you are giving yourself enough space to roll forward. So I'm just going to keep rolling to where I've hit the end of that hip flexor, and then I'm just going to roll myself back. Now in this position, okay, there's not much to it. All you're going to do is just roll. When you find any tension, I want you to sit, relax, let that knot release, and let your muscles form right back over top of that foam roller, okay? This is a very slow process, okay? You can continue to roll and roll and roll, okay? It doesn't hurt to do a little bit more. We just basically are gonna increase that blood flow, increase the range of motion. Beautiful. And you could be here for about a minute or so if you really have tight hip flexors, okay? Really taking that time to just roll out that hip flexor, okay? So that is your hip flexor. I always recommend making sure that you do both sides, okay? I won't go through this whole process, but again, starting above the hip, giving yourself plenty of space to move, and you're just foam rolling that small little area. And again, this leg that's out to the side, all right, is just here for support, and we're just facing those hips downward, okay? All right, so that should stretch out your hips a little bit. From there, we're gonna move into the quads, all right, which is just this section here. You could spend minutes, you could spend half an hour, you could spend as much time as you need. I usually spend a lot of time foam rolling out the quad because we can hit the front of the quad, we can hit the IT band on the side, and we can also foam roll the hamstrings if needed. So we're gonna start, I'll start on my right side here. So with the foam rolling of your quad, okay, we're gonna start right at that hip flexor, and we're just gonna roll down the front of your quad. So for this one, I'm gonna give myself some space because I'm gonna be rolling this way, so make sure you give yourself plenty of space for that, okay? Now, my leg that I'm foam rolling, so this is my right leg, I've completely relaxed that foot, and I have my knee here just for support. And again, I'm gonna use my elbows to gently walk myself forward. Once you find that area of tightness, okay, you might go, ooh, or whew, I found it. You will know immediately, because if you roll slowly, you'll find a big ball of tightness, okay? When you find it, I want you to pause, breathe, and you're gonna stay here for a little bit just to make sure that we're letting all that tension go. You can do small little forward and back movements here to kind of release any more tension. Take a big deep breath and release, okay? You can continue this fashion all the way down the leg, and as you're moving, you might find, oh, there's another tight spot. I'm gonna stay there. And it really is just about patience. Taking your time, breathing, not forcing anything, all right? You wanna watch a TV show or turn on some music to let your mind completely unwind. That always helps to make sure we're not really thinking about it too much. Okay, and you can continue this fashion, continue to move, all right, until you have hit that entire quad, okay? Now, I am gonna show you one advanced movement that you can do with foam rolling. Now, this is just called an active release therapy, an ART, okay? So once you roll and find that spot, so we're gonna pretend that I've hit my spot on my quad here, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna lift that leg that I am foam rolling. So I've found the spot, okay? Taking a couple deep breaths. And then from there, I'm gonna carefully and gently lift this heel, okay? Now what this is actually doing is we're actually putting tension, okay, on that buildup of scar tissue. All right, but we're also getting a little bit of movement in there to try to increase the blood flow to that area so that we can release that tension a little bit quicker, okay? So this helps if you are really tight, okay, but this is an advanced movement. So start with just the foam rolling till you feel comfortable that you can add in a couple little of ARTs, okay? And when you are doing this, if you are going to add this to your foam rolling regimen, just make sure that you just do about 10 reps of these, okay? And then you move on to the next spot. Take a couple deep breaths. Again, let your body completely unwind, and then you can go again for another 10 reps, okay? So that is the quad, that is the hip flexor. Another one that we can do is the IT band. It's the same thing, that we're just gonna be on our side, okay? So I'm still gonna come down to my elbows. Now my IT band connects to the back, it wraps around and it comes down to the knee, and it basically is the whole side of your quad here. So for this one, top leg's gonna come over top. I'm sitting right directly on top of my gluteus minimus for all my anatomical term junkies. So we're just gonna sit right on top of that glute. And then this is the same thing that we did when we rolled for that quad. We're just gonna move ourselves along, okay? And again, letting this foot just slide across the ground. Once you find that spot, same thing. Pause, breathe, okay? Try to relax, try to let that muscle form right back over top of that foam roller, okay? So that's the IT band, okay? Again, you can go all the way down, rolling all the way to the bottom of the knee, all right? Making sure you find those spots that are very tight, and you always pause. Don't continue to roll and roll and roll. You'll just end up pushing all those scar tissue buildups. You'll just end up pushing them all around. So we want to release them, okay? Increase the blood flow, so make sure you pause when you do find that knot, okay? The last one that I'll just show you is just a hamstring stretch or hamstring roll. And it's the same thing, okay? We're just rolling out the back of the leg here. I'll show you from this angle, okay? This one, if you have tight hamstrings, it usually means you have tight hip flexors, okay? So if your hamstrings are sore, you can just roll this one out, and then I would spend some time rolling out those hip flexors. So this one's pretty easy. We're just placing it right underneath the glute, right on the back of the leg, on that hamstring. I'm using this opposite leg to push up, okay, and my hands to lift my hips, and then I'm just gonna roll, and that's pretty much it, okay? If you do find that you have maybe a knot or a tension buildup in that hamstring, probably do the same thing where you're pausing and stopping, but don't spend too much time. Like I said, if your hamstrings are tight, it's probably due to maybe a lower back issue or a hip flexor issue. So don't worry about hamstrings too much, but if you find that you are super sore and want a little bit of a self-massage, okay, it's always a great one to add in. I will show you a little bonus tip since you've made it this far in this foam rolling technique video, and that is the calves, which is a huge bonus. If you run a lot, if you're a biker, this is a great one to add in as well. You can do this with one foot. You can do it with both feet if you have that flexibility and that strength. Otherwise, same thing as the hamstring, okay? Pushing through, hands on the ground, lifting the hips, and we're just rolling out that calf, okay? If you find that you have some tighter spots on the inside of the calf, you can rotate the foot. You can go all the way down to the bottom of the calf. And for more of an advanced option, if you need more pressure into that, you can just place that top leg on top and continue to roll through that calf, okay? Like I was saying, this is just a self-massage. This is just a chance to really unwind. This is a chance to get out any tension, any knots, any buildup of scar tissue that you might have. If you're going to do this again before your workout, that's a great thing just to increase the blood flow, increase your range of motion. And if you're gonna do it after, just make sure you take care of yourself, drink plenty of water, and make sure you take your time and breathe, and you will find very good results. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me in this foam rolling video. Excited to see you for next week for some more sessions. Let's do it.